Hi guys, how are you doing? It's Q. One of the most popular questions about the Zettelkasten system is what is the difference between the different beep, literature, fleeting, and permanent notes? Let's start by looking at the broad architecture of a Zettelkasten, and then we'll do a walkthrough after. The 4 different note types can be categorized based on their function. Beep and literature notes are for reference, and fleeting and permanent notes are actionable. The reference category is straightforward. Beep notes carry bibliographic details of whatever material you're perusing. If it's a book, it will usually carry the author, title, and publication year. You can also add a summary or evaluation such as a rating or review for easy reference in the future. Literature notes are key concepts, quotes, or data from the material. They usually include citations so you can easily trace where you've extracted this information from. Permanent notes are the core of your Zettelkasten. They are your own thoughts, insights, or questions that you want to pursue. These may come while you are reading or watching a video, or they may just be random shower thoughts. The most important thing about permanent notes is that you see long-term value in them, in the sense that they are ideas that you want to deep dive and elaborate on, as well as whether they contribute to existing conversations you have in your Zettelkasten. The difference between literature and permanent notes is that literature notes are lifted and paraphrased from a source for your future reference. So they usually retain the context of where you've extracted them from, whereas permanent notes are your own thoughts. So they are agnostic of any source material and are what you want to explore further. Literature notes test your first layer of understanding. Do you understand the material enough to rewrite them in your own words? While permanent notes is identifying an insight that is relevant to your other permanent notes, and then applying this learning to further develop the conversation. Fleeting notes are quick notes that you jot down to be processed later. Think of them as post-its. Not all of them will be used, and they are not meant to be filed into your Zettelkasten. Fleeting notes can be a single sentence or a drawing. They are just something simple and easy to remind you of your train of thought and are discarded after being reviewed. The best practice is to process them within a couple of days while your memory is still fresh. Conversely, permanent notes are written with care. We should always strive for a level of polish and finish in our permanent notes so that they are ready for any output. I think the reason why many of us, especially when we are starting out, are confused about the different types of notes is because we've misinterpreted the intent of a Zettelkasten system. Zettelkasten is not meant to be a Wikipedia of facts, but a Wikipedia of our thoughts. The core of our Zettelkasten is not literature notes, it's our permanent notes. Many of us start out trying to collect every single bit of information that we've come across, but most of the time, these are processed into literature notes, which is underutilizing the potential of a Zettelkasten system. One easy way to keep us focused is by referencing Richard Feynman's 12 favorite problems. He says, you have to keep a dozen of your favorite problems constantly present in your mind, although by and large they will lay in a dormant state. Every time you hear or read a new trick or new result, test it against each of your 12 problems to see whether it helps. And this is exactly what we want to do with our Zettelkasten. In order for our Zettelkasten to become a conversation partner, we have to deepen our understanding by continuously elaborating on our permanent notes. We want to ask questions, debate with ourselves, play the devil's advocate, and emulate our favorite luminaries. We should build our Zettelkasten up as our intellectual playground and not a memory bank. Before we start the walkthrough, I just want to preface that there is no right or wrong way to format your notes. There are recommended elements to incorporate for the different note types, such as author, publication year, etc. But ultimately, this is your Zettelkasten. You should personalize it based on how you think and what makes the most sense for you. Okay, let's start. Let's say I'm a lead student. And while reading the New Scientist magazine, I learned that comb jellies are actually not jellyfish. And when injured, they have the ability to combine themselves to form a fully functional unit. And that's pretty cool. So let's make a fleeting note to remind ourselves of this. And let's say I finished reading the magazine, so let's process this material. We'll make a bib card for this magazine. Let's add a short review, and we can also add a quick reference. Okay, let's look at our fleeting notes. Comb jellies. Okay, let's make a lead note for that. And for any lead notes created, I also like to add a link to the bib card. Now that we are done with the reference section, let's think if there is anything to add to our permanent notes. As a lead student, biology is not really something in my long-term interest, but the comb jellies do make me wonder about immortality, specifically humans' obsession with it, which is a recurring theme in literature. So let's make a permanent note about it. And I'll also add in a reference to the lead note that inspired this thought. This note also reminds me of Frankenstein, so let's assume that we already have a bib note for that. So let me add that to the reference. While doing this, I also want to explore the idea of impermanence, but I don't feel like doing it now, so let's make a fleeting note to remind ourselves. And that's it. We can keep building on this topic and explore any branches that emerge from this. In the future, I'll also be on the lookout for materials or ideas to add to this. I hope this is helpful. If you'd like to see more content about critical thinking and human behavior, do like and subscribe as you'll really help this channel out. See you in the next video.